Okay, guys, I'm back, and obviously, it is not the same day as when I recorded the first part of the video. This is the next day, the next morning. Even when I look like this, I don't always feel bad, but today I feel awful. I'll give you a little bit what the doctor has said, what's going on, what we're doing, and then I'm going to do a little video for you. Within this video of a demonstration of the Navage nose cleaning system. He wanted me to get that to help with cleansing out my nose and things like that. I have real dry nose in here, and he thinks that's what's causing, the irritation, inflammation, and some of the swelling and stuff. But also what I found out was, and of course, I have holes in the upper part of my mouth that have led up into my sinuses. Whenever I drink water, which I've told people, this is something that is very disheartening for me. It aggravates me, and it's something that flares my temper up more than anything. Because I try not to, be pissy about things. I know people, they think they're helping, but they are actually hurting. But I know that they're trying. Some people are trying to come from a place of, love and concern, and then some people are just full of shit. I'm just going to tell you, especially when I've said this before in the video, when I say something's going on, something's going on. I'm not like pulling stuff out of my ass and making stuff up, and I'm not talking about half of the time. I'm not talking about 80% of the time, 90% of the time. I'm not even talking about 99% of the time. 100% of the time, when I say something is wrong, that something is happening, and everybody around me nays it, says it's either in my head, it's because you're numb, everything hasn't, that's normal, and I'm like, no, it's not. I may not act like I'm suffering, because of my personality and things like that, but I am. I don't feel good. I hurt. It's uncomfortable. It's actually very, very painful. It's weird. I know that's not normal. And when I tell you 100% of the time, everybody has poo-pooed and nay-nayed stuff I've said, and everything was correct. There was something major going on that shouldn't have been going on. And I'm talking doctors, family members, friends, poo-pooed and nay-nayed. Well, when I went in there to see this doctor, in which, by the way, he called me last night, and I'd seen him, earlier yesterday, and I cried in there because, it was just like another thing. That's literally what I said. I was sitting there, and I'm like, just, another thing. I knew it was going to be, that's what I told him. I said, I knew something was wrong. And I didn't want it to be. It's not like I want things to be. But, I'm not going to walk around and say, no, you're right. It's all in my head. Have we met? Well, if you had known me many moons ago, before we moved to Alabama, I was very, okay, yes, you're right. I will suffer in silence. I will suffer in silence no more, ever. Never. When I die, I literally say this, I'm not going to be one of those people they say, she never complained. Now, 10 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, you could probably say that. I would pick and complain, but I would never truly complain about what was actually going on with me. Now, oh my God, totally. Why should I suffer in silence? People are like, well, complaining doesn't do anything. I'm like, it keeps me from holding that shit in. That's what kind of drove me crazy, was keeping all that in, physical pain, mental pain, and it drove me almost insane. So I refuse to do that again. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent because I'm irritated. But anyway, so we found out that I have, and on the right side, and I told him, I said, which made me realize I had some water with me, and I just happened to take a drink of it because being diabetic, you're always thirsty, and then I take medication that makes me thirsty and all that crap. So I took a drink of my water, and I had told my husband, I told several people, when I drink, it feels like it's in my nose. It's like cold. It feels like it's up in my nose, and I can feel it like in here, kind of in your sinuses. Well, it happened, and I said, oh yeah, I want to tell you that's happening too. This is something weird's happening. He was like, huh. And so, of course, he'd already, stuck the probe. I mean, I wouldn't have felt any more violated if he stuck it up my butt. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he stuck it in every hole. And then I started realizing he stuck it up my nose, then in my mouth, I mean, granted, he didn't touch anything in there, but still, I'm like, did you wipe that off, Doc? Because you just shoved that up there with all these crusties and snot and then shoved it back in my throat. I mean, I know it drains in there, but I don't want you doing that, and he goes back in there and and I said, do you want me to drink so you can see, or something? And he's like, yeah, would you mind drinking while I'm looking? And I did. And my sweet husband is sitting there and he's watching it. And it was the doctor and then an assistant, she was a doctor too, but and my husband says, they're looking around and my husband says, what's that right there? And they're like, what are you talking about? He goes, that right there, it's kind of shiny like it's water, like the light's hitting water, and it's kind of bubbling. Y'all, I have a hole. It's on both sides, but this side is much bigger, and the holes are open. But this side, for whatever reason, I have never noticed it. He said it was probably something I've had since birth. But I have never noticed it when I drank up until recently, when all that crap started with my face. And I'm not talking about cancer. I'm talking about like after my 4 surgery and then all this and all that crap with my nose. I never noticed it until then. And I started drinking and I would say it all the time. My husband's like, well, I mean, it's probably just such and such or such, and I know my husband's coming from a place of true love. I mean, I know that he cannot stand to see me upset or anything. And when they found that, when my husband found that, and then I drank and as he goes down there and does the scope, he records it so he can show it to me. And even the other doctor's like, yeah, that's weird. I mean, they were like, that is super weird because I'm constantly feel congested. Like I constantly got snot in there. And the problem is the front of my nose is dry, like super dry. And of course, and that's irritating and causes inflammation. Well, then in the back, of my nose, and then in the back here in my sinuses, that thing is filling my nose up every time I drink, every time I swallow. Water or saliva, whatever, is going up in there. I mean, you can like see it bubbling up in there. And every time I took a drink and everything. So now this is like constantly has stuff going in there, and I haven't. He was like, he didn't know what it was. he was like, I have never seen this. And he is a specialist, ENT. And he's like, he goes, I will ask, he goes, it could be like oral, but since it's coming from underneath up, he goes, and I can talk to a surgeon about it too. And he goes, I really don't know. He was like, took his time in there with me. He even got this other thing. It was like a hook. And anyway, of course, when he says that it's, I immediately, I couldn't help it. I started crying. I'm just exhausted. And I don't know how long I'm supposed to, be able to just smile and laugh it off. I'm basically disfigured, and you know, if that's not bad enough, then I have all these, functioning problems. And then, of course, whenever I get upset like this, my diabetes messes up. So, of course, last night it jacks up and it goes high, and then I have to, you know, take insulin, and then, of course, it plummets this morning. And, of course, that makes you feel awful. I mean, just awful. And it's not that, I mean, right now I'm just kind of emotionally, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just I'm angry at the situation. I'm not necessarily angry at everybody. And of course, he was talking to my plastic surgeon, and I'm like, look, I love him. I've said that before in videos. I really do. But he is nothing but he is a cancer plastic surgeon, but that's all he is. He does cancer reconstruction. He didn't do anything else. And of course, my nose is collapsing, so that causes me not to be able to breathe well, and things like that. This nostril's really thick on the inside, so that causes a lot of not being able to breathe. And then I'm constantly doing that. And of course, right now I just cried, so teared up and all that. So now I've got an abundance of snot anyway. But and I'm sorry, but again, I tell y'all, if you're on here, this is what you're on here for: is to the life of sarcastic diabetic. This is it. I'm just like, shit. I want to go eat a cake. I'm lying. I really don't. That is not my poison. It's starch is my poison. I don't care anything about drinks, candy. I mean, I'll use it. But let me tell y'all, all right, on a side note, because y'all know how I flit. I'm ADD, ADHD, whatever. I have in my little thingy and stuff, I have, I don't even know where my G6 is. Lord help me. Oh, yeah, I do. It's right there. I put Swedish goldfish in here. Oh my God, they're wonderful. And they will raise your sugar up really fast. You don't have to eat a whole bunch of them. I think a serving's 5, but you don't want to eat 5 because it's going to jack your sugar up. I had to, while I was in there in the doctor's office, I had to eat a couple of them because I was so nervous, scared, wanting some answers about stuff. My blood sugar's just plummeted. But anyway, but he told me that, and that he wanted me to get, he told me just to do a rinse to help kind of clean out my sinuses, and then use the X Clear, or the clear spelled with an X, to, keep it moist. The word moist is disgusting. To keep it lubricated. Moist, it's the oyster. It's the oyster, I'm telling you. Ugh. Anyway, and to clean out my sinuses and all that, and then use that to keep it moisturized. And and something else, I've got to get the paperwork out of my car, but it's something like an ointment or something that is a certain kind of ointment or whatever. And just a heads up on that X Clear, whatever, those products are wonderful. They have Exidol in it, which is actually a artificial sweetener, or but just a heads up, if you have dogs, this is highly poisonous to dogs. Highly poisonous. They don't really know how much dogs, in particular breeds, sizes, that it, how much they have to have. But if you use it, make sure you wash your hands, make sure you wash your face, and all that kind of stuff. Because like my dog, my dog's kind of a turd, you have to force the loving on him. He really wants it. But you don't want to have it on you, because it is, it's sweet. So they want to lick it or whatever. And so I'm constantly washing. I won't touch my dog. I will wash my hands multiple times, and the outside of my face multiple times. Because, you touch your face and stuff. Anyway. But that stuff is good, and they even have decongestant sprays and stuff like that. You just need to go, and it also helps with viruses and stuff like that. They recommend that, COVID and stuff like that. And there's another thing. I don't know if I've even put this on a video, but this is from Israel. and this is something that they're using over there it stops uh, the COVID virus, or any virus actually. You spray it in your nose. It's kind of like a powdery thing in there. You can't see it, but it's like and you spray it in your nose, and it literally stops it from going further down. And if the virus has gone down in there, it will kill it. But you have to use it often. I haven't used it yet. But I did get it. It took a while to get here. I've had it for a while, but I haven't used it yet. Of course, I haven't had COVID either, so what ifs. And then he finally, he didn't really know what it was. He said he talked to whatever. He wants me to get a CT scan, so I go in like a week or so, get a CT scan so he can see and make sure there's no like cyst or maybe a tumors and stuff in the holes or in there, and if something needs to be done. He said, then he calls me last night. I mean, just sweet. I mean, just a sweet. I mean, that made me want to cry. And he was like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, hey. And he's like, I think I know what this might be. He goes, but only like 1% of the population of the world has it. And I've tried to look it up. I can't put it this way. It's so rare. I literally can't find anything on the internet. Nothing. And I can't. I know I'm not saying it right or whatever. He called it a duct, but that's not what it is. I mean, I think he researched it, tried to research it himself, and then talked to like some other specialist or whatever. And he goes, I don't think that this, is causing your issue. He goes, I mean, it's not something that, he goes, I think it's going to be, not that it's not an issue. He goes, I don't know for sure, but we're going to look. He goes, but I did want you to know that I did find something out on it. It is rare. So therefore, not a lot is known about it, blah, 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 blah. And of course it is. I mean, that's just, everything's rare. I have a rare stigmatism in my eyes. I was the worst cancer case that they had seen. How deep, how far, how much, it was just like, I'm like, why can't it be, oh, you're normal. Nothing special about you, nothing. I would love to be not special. That would be my goal. My eye doctor, he was like, you have such a rare stigmatism and blah, 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 and you're like blind as hell. And we did so many experiments on my eyes trying to get contacts again. I wore contacts when I was younger. It was super hard to do, but I did it. It's just like so much crap. He's like, I need to write a book about you. I'm like, please. I don't know if I will say please do or please don't. I'm just like, I wish it was a book that said, Jennifer's normal. I am not normal, but you know what I mean. I am in no way normal at all. Actually, I'm probably really weird, but I'm a very much a people person, and I love people, and I love to laugh. So there. But anyway, so there's that. So basically, I just have to keep my nose lubricated, cleaned out, that kind of thing. And I'm sure the more I use this, he said to use it once a day. They say on the box to use it twice a day.